TikTok? Yeah, I got TikTok. Give me a
Okay.
second.
All right, I'm on it.
Welcome everybody viewing the show. This is our Sunday live news discussion. We haven't been live on a Sunday in a while, but we feel that there's so much going on. We figure we could just sit here and talk about it.
Definitely need to talk about it. Yeah, man, it's a lot going on, especially with the whole situation going on in Minneapolis right now. It's kind of, you can see it almost spreading around to every other state right now. You're seeing protests in every other state. You hear, I think the mayor of might have been Philadelphia or Pittsburgh, one of those places in Pennsylvania, came out and he said, if you guys want to come here and commit crimes, referring to ICE, he said, get the F out. And it seems like everybody's starting to kind of use that type of rhetoric right now, which is not really. It's like everyone's been infected by this kind of Trumpism that we have going on here, where that's the new way that we talk politics right now, in a way that is not really a way that we've done for the whole time we've been in existence. Like we were tumbling down into the mud pretty much. We were letting the worst among us become the spokespeople for the whole country. And it's ugly. It's ugly to me. I mean, I can't really even. I don't even respect it.
I think it's a lot worse than that. You know what I'm saying? Like, as Americans, it's crazy. It's like, I don't know if you remember Ammo Bundy.
Who?
Ammo Bundy. So Ammo Bundy was a farmer out in, I believe he was in Texas when it started off, and he was letting his cows graze on federal land. And so, the government tried to, they fined him like $1 million or something like that for farming on government land. And so the government came to take his cattle. I believe they came to take his cattle or do something to him. Anyways, he stood there. He got his buddies together and they stood there and they armed up against the federal government. You know what I'm saying? They had video of it and everything. Like, they're sitting there with the guns out and stuff. And, the agents had to back off. They had to step off. And then he also did it. They had another one where they're in Oregon and they took over like some kind of, it was like a park museum or something like that. They had like a bunch of like artifacts and stuff. They took that over in Oregon. You know what I'm saying?
You said his name was Ammo Bundy.
Ammo Bundy, yeah, Ammo Bundy. He was able to do it twice. The only time they caught him is because they were coming in and out of the area that they took over. But this happened twice. You know what I'm saying? So you're supposed to stand up to the government. That's the whole point. You know what I'm saying? They don't want government in your business. The government should be coming into people's town. Like, I say it's like this. If you're in a state and you don't have a problem with immigrants in your state, you should be left alone. But they're stoking the fear of people. And at some point, this is a critical moment for a lot of people. Like, either you're gonna let the government push you around and shoot you when they feel like it, or you have to stand up. Like I keep saying on the show, either they're gonna put their thumb on you or you're gonna rise up. And at this point, you got to take to the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, for other people, depending on where you're at, but you have to. Like that lady getting shot in the face. And I said this on the show before. It doesn't matter at this point, if the cop was in the wrong or if she was in the wrong. People are going to have their opinions. We're already divided as a country. And at the end of the day, because somebody wants to hide a list and people want to push their views on other people. Those two people, she shouldn't have been in that situation, and that officer shouldn't have been in that situation. Neither one of them.
I'm going to say this. I hear what you're saying too, but I don't agree with as far as like spreading the blame out in both directions is a little bit too much. This same officer had been drugged by another car previous to this. They're saying that he was involved in another dragging of it from another vehicle like earlier in the summer or something like that. And I mean, so
he tried to bust out the window of a stop car, the back window, and the driver took off.
So he shouldn't
have been on the streets anyways. But I'm saying like this.
Let me finish. Yeah, because the bigger point is like, these people don't want you here, and he's probably an aggressive officer. This is probably not he's known to be aggressive. Obviously, this has happened to you 2 separate times in less than 6 months, and now you've killed someone. Due to the fact that this is what's happening to you, you're putting yourself in front of vehicles when you see them moving. Don't stand in front of a vehicle. First of all, you just don't do that. I'm not going to blame that she went forward on him, but for him to shoot through the window, then shoot through the window again once he's cleared the vehicle. Yeah, I am. He's probably a super aggressive officer. We're seeing a lot of these people who are probably ill trained and basically don't have the proper temperament to be in the situation that they're in. But we're allowing them out on our streets to dictate laws they probably really don't even fully understand. They just feel like they can tell anyone that we're a federal agent, we can do what we want. And this is coming from the top of the ticket. So I think that there's I'm not going to put blame on both sides in this situation. He murdered her. You know, I mean, he shot through her window the first sight. You were clear of the car, then you shot through her window again. Once you were clear of the vehicle, you were no longer in harm's way. That's like saying that if you shoot someone and they're running away, then you're in trouble for that. You get that's a crime. At your home, you could be at your home. If they turn their backs to leave and you shoot them in the back, you're committing a crime. So therefore,
the administration you're right, and the administration is doubling down on the reason I'm saying neither one of them should have been there, because these agents shouldn't be in a state as like Minneapolis, you know, at all, doing what they're doing. But I guess this is what people voted for. This is what we get. But they shouldn't have been in the state in the first place. She shouldn't have been in that situation. You know, all these lives are ruined because of this administration, because it wants to pit us against each other. But I mean, some people are already there. You know, I'm not taking sides. I just know you have to realize some people they're not gonna join the kumbaya. That's not gonna happen anytime soon. And it's just a crazy situation. And so at this point, your live is not eligible recommendation. So change unoriginal. What the hell are you talking about? Hold on, messing with me on the live.
No, you gotta do your thing. But I'll continue on. But like I said, we're at a point right now.
Yeah,
go ahead, Dion.
I mean, there's so much stuff that's going on right now. You know what I'm saying? Like he's trying to overthrew Venezuela to a point, right? With the oil execs.
He did.
Okay, he overthrew that. No, this is unclear. Still not. There's that. He overthrew Venezuela, right? He's talking about taking Greenland. I mean, he's not even talking about it. They're doing it. That's what's happening. And when they decide to take that, that's the end of NATO as we know it. And it's just it's crazy. You know, Weston, I always say on the show all the time, the America we knew and we all grew up in is gone. No matter if we had our differences, you didn't like what was going on, all that is gone. We are in a new norm. All right. And people are having a hard time adjusting to it because it's either you're with them or you're against them. And if you're against them, they're going to step on you.
So did you see the guy who came out with the bullhorn? He was obviously some right-wing guy who feels like, you know, we did this to you. He came out just kind of spewing the fact that he felt like what ICE was doing was his side of the aisle. Like we already killed one of you. I felt like he was just an antagonist more than anything else. I mean, you didn't do anything. Like they say, don't claim bodies you didn't do. And that's exactly what he was doing right there. You didn't do it, but ICE did it. And they sat there and they were happy to have him pushing the line. And I saw another officer walk up to a lady who was recording him, basically say to her, "Didn't you guys already learn your lesson pretty much? Like, didn't you guys get enough of this already? After we already killed," basically saying after we killed one of you already, you guys should learn your lesson, not to follow around. You know,
they're not used to people doing this to them, and the people they're doing it to aren't used to it happening to them. Now, yeah, go ahead.
Top of that, though, there's a guy who came out later that we put up a video of, that came out and said, you know what, I'm not coming to any more of these rallies without my firearm anymore. Yes. And what he was saying made a lot of sense. I felt like, you know, I mean, we're coming to these places unarmed. They have mace. They're spraying us with mace. They're shooting people. I mean, they're beating people up. There's a kid who was at I think he might have been at work or something. They pulled him out of the building. He's like a teenager, pulls him out of the building, takes him in the car. He's yelling the fact he's obviously of like Latino descent. And they yank him into their car, drive off like 8 minutes away or whatever, dump him out the car once they figure out he's an American, bloody him up, throw him on the concrete, everything else. He comes back, he's crying, you know, like full on crying. I feel bad for the guy, you know, because he's sitting there crying, blubbering like a baby. Like, you know, I'm not okay, you know, and people are sitting there kind of trying to make them feel better and say we can call somebody, but we don't even know who to call on these people anymore. You don't know who to call on these people coming into your town, basically harassing, beating people, breaking down doors, grabbing people off the street. This is the brown shirts. We have it right here in our own country right now. We have a German who was the top of the ticket, who's Trump, acting the same way the same German did across the water, maybe what was that, about 80 years ago or so, doing this a little bit over that, maybe 95 years ago, something around there. You know, like, I mean, let's I mean,
it's he's gonna do when you give somebody so much power like that, you know, and especially somebody like that, they call him a narcissist, but he wants to be the top of everything. He wants to be on top of the world. He wants to feel empowered. He wants everybody to bend at his will. You know, because remember the guy that's not the embassy, but he's the guy that goes and talks to Russia for us. He was telling him, he's like, look, you got to kiss his ass, and you got to be nice to him, and you got to do this, you got to do that, and you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just it's a sad way to see how our politics have devolved. You know what I'm saying? He's on TV cussing. JD Vance is on TV cussing. They're calling the left people radicals. They're saying, "Oh, you're getting paid to do this." You know, it's total division, and you know, it's basically we're in a civil war.
Who they blame for this? Who they blame for this morning? Who are they saying that divided America? You're the first person who divided America. Who was the guy who they love to pin this on?
They always say it's Obama.
You know what I mean? It's a funny thing that they like to pin it on the one guy the one person of color who actually won the presidency. They like to pin that he divided America. I wonder why that is. I'm not absolutely sure. When we're watching now,
let's not play coy. We know why. Because it's the first time people had to think about other things than themselves. It's the first time you had a black president. You're like, damn, I got to answer to somebody. Damn. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm not the center of the world. You know what I'm saying? I remember the videos when he got elected. They're like, what are we going to do? What about our way of life? What about this? You know, fear puts a lot of stuff into people's hearts like that. And so, but I mean, like today, we can't even look back and say, oh, Obama this, Obama that. I mean, what's happening right now, the country is different. Think about it. The whole point right now, even if he doesn't take Greenland, but he's taking it. He said he's taking it. He's like, look, I'm taking Greenland. We can do it the easy way or we can do it the hard way.
Said the same thing about Cuba. Just now too. Like Cuba, you take the deal.
Mexico is bringing all their strategically putting their military in certain places. They're getting ready for the invasion.
He's about to basically start going on land and taking out cartels. I mean, to me, once you start invading, he's already done it. He's already invaded a sovereign country. People love to say this guy was a dictator. Listening to people who listen, it's like you guys are good with snake oil salesmen. I bet you a snake oil salesman did very, very well in certain parts of the country with certain people. You can just tell who they did well with. You can tell who they're able to sell whatever goods they were hawking to real easy. Because when you look at the people, they're like, hey, this guy's a dictator. Well, what made him a dictator? You know what I mean? Like, what actually made this person a dictator? But let's go ahead and stick with Minnesota. I know we're on, Minneapolis right now. We can stick with that subject.
Jumping around, man. It is what it is in the news. You know, all the clips I'm seeing, a lot of people, they're tired of it. You know what I'm saying? You can only be pushed around for so long. There's only so much you can take from somebody, just, especially this government. Bro, we had a rough year. It's not even been a year yet. We have 9 days for it to be a full year of the stuff that's going on. And think about just this year, we done took over a whole nother country. An American citizen has finally been shot by ICE. They have video. I don't know if you saw the video I posted.
That was the first time. I almost don't feel like that's the first time. They shot a few other people.
There was a brother that was killed on
New Year's Eve, right?
New Year's Eve. Yeah. But the guy was off duty. There was the Mexican lady that got shot.
Remember the guy in Chicago who got shot in his car? I think he got shot in his car.
There was a lady in LA that got shot too.
So this isn't they're shooting people all over the place. They shooting first, asking questions later. To me, it's like you're at a point right now where you really can't even. I wouldn't go to one of these protests unarmed. Why? Why would you go somewhere without any weapons or something to defend yourself one way or the other when you see how this is playing out? They're shooting people in the face with mace. I mean, just shoot them right in the face with it. Like they think it's a game at this point in time. So we're playing with them too much. We're Americans and we're playing a little bit too much right now.
Well, that's the whole thing too. It's like, when it comes to the protesters, they ain't doing it right. Like I said, I told you that off camera. I'll say it right now. Y'all ain't going hard enough for me. Not at all. Not a single one of you.
Just to be out there protesting is something, though. I have to say that. Just to go out there and actually do it.
You can go outside West and stomp around all you want. You know what I'm saying? You've seen black people do it all the time because people in the crowd, calm down, time, let freedom will ring. No, that's not what's going to happen here.
I don't know.
So check it out. They're rounding up. They just shot a civilian. So let me tell you how this is going to play out, right? ICE is going to have to change their tactics because now the American citizens are like, we're not taking it. We're not going to have it. Soon they're going to be like, they're going to start arresting them. They're going to pass something really quick to be able to arrest and charge American citizens. Then they're going to do something where they're going to make a law where it's like you're aiding and abetting immigrants or people that aren't from this country. You can get tossed out too. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. Like they're off tops, you're letting them wear masks. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I've seen people posting, I've told you this many a time. If you run up on me with a mask on, and claim to be a law enforcement agency, and you don't show me identification that you are a law enforcement agent, we're holding court right there. You're not going to kidnap me. I just saw one of them take a woman into a porta potty. I don't know if you saw that video.
I didn't.
He had the lady in handcuffs, and then the ICE agent was walking, and he slipped on the ice and fell while the lady's going to the porta potty, and he went in there with her. Why does he need to go in the porta potty with her? What is he doing in there?
Yeah, I don't know. That's it. I think that's training right there. That just tells you that's training. People know that that's not even, men aren't even supposed to pat down women. That's a normal thing. It's training that we're at right now. They're just hiring people. They're basically saying that, hey, here's the money. You're putting it out there. I mean, your credentials don't have to be, and you can be anybody. There was a guy who was on video one time, and I'm not saying it's 100% sure, but he had 100% sure that this guy was an ICE agent. They said he was supposed to be an ICE agent. He had SS tatted on his neck. He was like, I got this a long time ago. Yeah. I mean, it's just like at a point to where, but these are the people who they're hiring. They're hiring Proud Boys. They're hiring people. This has always been kind of what policing forces have been throughout history. We all know the background of police forces. We understand that the original police forces came from slave catchers. This is not to say this is,
Well, I mean, look, what is your, think about it, like, what is your mission on this? Like, exactly what their mission is. That's the crazy part. Pull over brown people and check them for their papers. That's all they're doing. They may have a couple. They're catching them at court, trying to follow the legal process to become an American citizen, right? They're catching them at work while they're working, making American tax money, right? And then they're catching them by just pulling brown people over. They don't care who they're pulling over. And the person was like, hey, you've seen people, I'm a citizen. They're like, we don't care, because they have to meet a quota. So they're just going to pull you. You know how many Americans, I think it's been like 30 some odd, maybe more than that, Americans been held in custody, telling these people. And they can't, remember we talked about that. Yeah, probably a lot more than that. And remember, they can't make phone calls the first day. They got to be in there. They got to work for a couple of days to make enough money to make a phone call.
I've watched, there's video where they go to people's trucks who are sitting in truck parking and bang on the door. Here, let me see your ID. And they understand these people are probably, some of them are from different places, other countries. But this guy's like, I don't have to show you my ID. And they sit there and they're like, yeah, basically, yeah, it's a harassment tool for people of color. Once the Supreme Court came out and said that you can use color as a basis for approaching someone, that was open season on anybody of color. Because where they're not going. You know where they're not going. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they probably are going there. They probably are anywhere where there's people of color. They're going. They're not anywhere else. They're not going. They're not going to, the Norwegian town, it's near us. They're not going to those places. They're not going to.
Wait till they start beefing. Watch him take Greenland. Watch it. Okay, when he takes Greenland and they start having all these issues, then they're going to start rounding them up because they got to go. They know they have to get rid of them.
No, they're not. That's the point. The point of this whole look. When Elon Musk came out with his tweet, when he retweeted that comment about, when they have the numbers, they'll come after us. That sounds like you understood what you did when you came after him, what you guys were doing before to everyone else here. You understand perfectly what happened here. That the fear is that you think that once the rabbit got the proverbial gun, that they're going to do the same thing to you, what you did to them. That once he retweeted, he showed you exactly what this is. They don't want any of these people to leave. None of this is about immigrants or anything like that. It's about it's about keeping their bloodlines clear. They want this country to be a majority European nation. That's what they want, but it's impossible. It's already a done deal. You know what I mean?
UK, they're like, yo, the UK's changing color. They're like, well, the UK's accepted their fate. They know it. They're like, look, we're not birthing enough people to replace the ones that are dying. So we have to bring in people into our nation. Does it look beautiful? No, not to us. You know what I'm saying?
Basically saying, though, they're not about to kick out people from Norway. He asked them to come to the country. He said, I want people from Norway, Sweden, you know what I mean? Like Finland. He's asked for these people to come here. Even if they fight back, it's not gonna take that personally. He knows they're gonna fight back if they want to stop Greenland from changing hands. He understands that.
But he went to go get Maduro because Maduro made fun of his dance.
Are you really think I know you're not really saying that. I know you're just.
He said it himself. Wesley said it himself.
I'm not saying that.
He was on TV but doing my dance.
Really believe that this is why
he said it himself.
I'm not saying that he didn't say that. That's a throw off. We both know why he went to Venezuela.
Yeah,
We both know that.
Oil
You know what I mean?
stuff,
For the money, he's already said, I'm putting aside the 50 to 60 million barrels of oil, and the money's going into offshore accounts. He's already told you he wouldn't have cared who did his dance. How many people have probably done his dance across the world? That's just something he wanted to say. But the money was he told us about oil in 2017.
I bet
going to Venezuela for the oil.
The dance was the go button. That was the straw that broke the camel's back for him.
No, he was going to go in there regardless. Now he's trying to get his buddies, to Exxon Mobil and the rest of these guys, to ante up to go in there. They're like, nah, we're not going with you, man. We're definitely not going with you on this one right here, because we like to make 10-year, 20-year plans. They basically, these big oil companies have basically come out and told us what the future is for this country. They said, you know what? We can't listen to this dude because he's out of here. In the next year, they're about to be, by the end of this year, the midterms are going to be brutal for Republicans. Brutal for Republicans. That's why he's trying to do everything he can now. Oh, I want to put 10% caps on credit cards. Oh, I want to stop, institutional investors from buying homes. He's trying to do. If you wanted to do that, you would have done it the first year. Those are the things you would have done to help people to begin with. You've lost over 1 million jobs. Really, the economy is bleeding right now. The average person is basically crumbling under the pressures of inflation, everything else, food costs going up, energy costs have gone down. I'll give you that one. He's done well with gas prices. Done a good job with that. But the average cost for of Americans is going up overall. And you're not helping with anything else. You've gone and you've done the things that you needed to do for you and your friends. Now you're trying to pretend like you want to get something else done. And it's pretty easy for you to do. You got the House and the Senate. You could get it done. If this is what you truly wanted, you would go and get it done. But he's not going to, because it's going to hurt his buddies even more to say, I'm going to cap credit card interest payments at 10%. What he's trying to do is make more expendable income so the economy looks better than what it is. That's what he's trying to do. Now, oh yeah, people got a little bit more money because they're not paying such high credit card costs, which is, I'm not against any of those things. Get it done. If you're going to do it, do it. Don't just talk about it. You didn't just talk about going and getting Maduro. You went and got it done. Went into that country. You didn't just talk about the big, beautiful bill. You went and got it done. So if these are things that you truly want to do. You want to do something for people for the first time ever.
He talked about it.
Go do it. Talked about what? You said he talked about what?
He talked about going to get Maduro. He kept saying it. I mean, I wonder who collected that bounty. That's what I want to know.
Probably, you're probably the vice president.
Where'd that bounty go?
The vice president split the money with Maduro and his people. He already knew that. They knew they was coming to get him. Like, yeah, man, just come on, get him, get this out of. He's probably like, I need to get this out the way, anyways. Have you heard that basically?
I think Trump kept the money.
Have you heard that? Basically, that they're saying there's possibility that El Chapo's son may testify against Maduro, but it's funny because he was arrested after the warrants went out. The original warrants 2020. He wasn't arrested before that. He was arrested after that. So any information he's giving you is kind of based upon pressures like, hey, you want this deal? Yeah, you need to come say this, and that then. Because you already they already put the warrant out for him in 2020. You get what I'm saying? And now all of a sudden, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the Maduro situation is crazy because the Department of Justice is just throwing cases out there. They're not doing legitimate cases. Like you've seen it happen. He's just attacking. Look, they accuse him of being in some cartel that doesn't even exist, right?
Yeah,
like
they dropped that off. I heard.
Yeah, they had to. There was nothing on there.
And at the same time, then they said something about machine guns. They're like, hey, well, they're accusing him of having machine guns. And Rand Paul came out and he's like, how can we have a 1930s American law and hold people from other countries accountable for that law in their country? It doesn't make sense. He's like, I can't tell another country what my law is here and then dictate it on you there. Like, oh, you can't have machine guns either then, France. Your president is guilty of having machine guns. Like, he's like, they act like this is a RICO case. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a dude down the street and they got the RICO on him. Like, okay, you had the drugs, you had the machine guns, you had everything else. Put it on him.
I always thought that was crazy too. It's like, someone will be in Mexico and they'll sell drugs or whatever, but the drugs end up in America. And so, excuse me. And so they charge them and come get them from a different country. That never made sense to me. Like, how can you even do that? Like,
but you can though, because if that's that's different. Because if you're doing something that that, okay, I'm having these drugs transported to this country for this. That's like same thing they got Manuel Noriega for. Or the guy who was he from Ecuador or from Honduras or something like that. They got the ex-president who they snatched up, who shipped like 400 tons of cocaine to America and was like, I'll take it and shove it up the noses of all the gringos myself in America. You know what I mean? This is what this dude said. He said, I'm gonna take this yo yang, you know what I mean, and shove it up the noses of the gringos myself if I have to. And then this guy just let him out of jail, but said he's going after Maduro for trafficking.
And homeboy's probably going back to Honduras.
No, he's not. Honduras did what they're supposed to. They put a warrant out for him. He's not ever going back down. Yeah, they said, man, okay, they thought we was gonna hold it down. They looked at us like we can't trust. Who can trust America? You have to look at what this really. I've been trying to tell everybody for a long time. I've always believed that this person is what was put here or has people who are puppeting him, who know enough information about him where he's just trying to destroy the credibility of America. Basically, once he let this president go, Honduras then put a warrant out for an international warrant out for this person's arrest. He's going to some country where there's no extradition law. He didn't get how much money he's probably sitting on, how much bread he cashed Trump out.
I don't think like you said before, Trump is a Russian agent or asset. I don't even think it's that. I think the ignorance, the stupidity, and the pridefulness. This is a prideful American person. They're thinking, hey, we got the strongest military in the world. We're paying too much to NATO, which is true. NATO wasn't chipping in the amount they should have. You know, like we could run in their minds. They're like, we could run this whole bitch. Who gonna do something? Who gonna stop us? Look at someone pointed out that in Venezuela had all these Chinese air defense systems and stuff, and they all failed.
They had Russian air defense systems.
Okay, and they all failed.
But no, listen, I don't think they failed. I think they just shut them down. Not that they failed at all. There's no way that your president gets snatched and with all this going on, and there's no missiles fired, nothing's going on, nothing happens. There's no way this ever will happen. But what I was going to say here, the reason why I believe that, because look at what he's done with the Epstein files. You know, the way he's reacted to how the Epstein files, it tells you that you're working for somebody. The way you fought so hard to cover this up, it tells you what he's willing to do to keep a secret covered up. He will do whatever it takes.
The things about the Epstein files, this is two things. Now, since he did the thing in Venezuela, they're going to delay it until after he comes out of office. Yeah. So that could be never, right? And then number two, they've only released at least 1% of it, right? Yeah. And his name already appears in it, 300 times?
Yeah, they said, I mean, it's one of them's a pretty damning 1%,
Wes. 1% they've released.
You remember the thing they said about the 14-year-old girl and the baby and how I know you read that part of it, heard about that part of it, where it's alleged that, he was there when her and her father took and discarded it's just a newborn baby, because it's crazy. A lot of the stuff that's in there, I won't really want to talk about too much online fully, but yeah, a lot of the things that are in there are just crazy to pay attention to and to understand that this person, I'm not saying it's true or not, but the fact of the matter that it's in there with your name on it speaks volumes, says a lot. And the fact of the matter, the people who are supporting you don't care. Many of them first, they were like, before he came into office, they're like, he's going to release the Epstein files, all the Democrats beware, this and the third. They use the whole Democrat thing like it's just one like the Democrat means that you're a pedo, and this is just not just a person thing, it's a people thing. That's what that is. Okay, so they're excited about that. They're all pumped up. Dan Bongino, Kash Patel, they're going to get it done. There was so many people who were just pro-Trump saying this to me. He gets in office. After a while, he doesn't release them. All the stuff starts happening. You know what they tell me? I don't really even care. Won't change my mind about him one way or the other. You know what I mean? Like, after a while, you've basically accepted the fact that you voted for, endorsed, and got behind a pedo, which was you're fine with that. I mean, that's up to you to be fine with that. It's your decision. I can't change your mind about it. I wouldn't even want to. I want you to be who you want to be. I want you to talk about things the way you want to talk about them. But just be real. Let's not act like we don't know who this person is and what he's doing. This is the person who runs our country. That's what it boils down to. You can point fingers at whatever else you want to, but this is the person who is the leader of our country, who has his fingers on the nuclear buttons. You know what I mean? This is the person who you've elected to have the best judgment as far as how to take care of this country, being the CEO of this country. And I had a guy come on my page today talking about, yeah, look at all the fraud that's going on in these different places, blue states, all this other stuff. I'm like, what about the dude who you elected to be your president? How many fraud cases did he have? A lot. A lot. He's been convicted of fraud. A lot of fraud cases way back
Well,
since like the
it's not
80s
about
and
that
90s.
anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like,
What do you
it's
think
not
it's
about that
about?
anymore. It's all about crushing their enemies. They don't care what he does. You know, you can see those. It's about crushing the people they don't like. You hear them all the time. It's like I said, we're too divided as a nation now for us to go back. We're too divided as a country to go back, and there's too many changes that have gone on since he's become president for us to go back. Think about how many government jobs we lost last year. Think about how many manufacturing jobs were lost last year. Think about all the loss, all the country, all the cities and states. Think about all the rules they've changed, everything they've took away from the people. They made it where your medical bills can show up on your credit score now, right? And so everyone else is getting paid. All the rich people are getting paid, and then the way that we look in the world, and we're isolating ourselves because to them they're like, he's like, he put all these tariffs out, and he's like, all right, we're going to put these tariffs out. You're not going to do nothing about it except for accept them. And he has to realize that other countries, they're not dealing with them. They don't have to. You know what I'm saying? And Marco Rubio came out and said it. He was like, look, these other countries are trying to sell oil in their own currency instead of selling them in the American dollar. And so they're like, if they start selling in other currencies, we can't put sanctions on them anymore. You know what I'm saying?
That's why they're doing it, though. That's why they've stepped around it, because we've used sanctions as a weapon for so long. It's not if it's going to happen. It's already been happening. The petrodollar is over. That was what strengthened. That was one of the strongest assets America had besides our workforce and our people was the petrodollar. I mean, the petrodollar is that something that America kind of did with Saudi Arabia and probably other OPEC nations, but Saudi Arabia that I know of, they went to them and said, you know what, we want you to only sell oil in the dollar. You know, I want you to only way you can buy oil is by using the American dollar. And through probably military and other means, it was like, okay, you guys give us some military protection, whatever else the case may be, and we'll only sell oil, because we had a very stable currency at the time. We just come out of a few wars decades before. We looked good to the world at that time, and they agreed to that. So imagine the whole rest of the world. You cannot buy oil from any of these nations unless you use the dollars. That means you have to go to America and buy dollars. What does that do? That strengthens our currency, strengthens our nation, because people have to keep on buying our dollars. That's how we basically became the nation that we are today. But now that they're not going to re-sign that agreement. Saudi Arabia isn't going to re-sign that agreement. So now they're basically saying, hey, we're gonna let people buy oil in whatever currency that they have. Not saying it's a great idea for them to do that, because some of these currencies they won't ever. What does Saudi Arabia really buy from India? There's certain places that, what do they really buy from Russia? Really nothing. So what are you going to take a bunch of rupees, which are worthless, for? So some of the things won't really work out fully, but just starting that process weakens America at the end of the day.
Well, I mean, that's and the people that are in power just aren't getting that part.
Which part are you talking about?
Oh, go ahead.
You're saying like
they won't. The people in power aren't getting that part. They're thinking, when you have such confidence in what you're doing and how you think you can run other people in other countries, it backfires on you, especially when you're a bully and you haven't been touched. We're not going to understand anything until they get punched in the mouth, which they're not going to let happen, right? They're about to take Greenland. He said he's taking it. If Europe has to sell it, and Europe's like, we're not giving it up, right? So they're ready to fight. They're going to have to fight America. They're going to take Europe. And then after they take Europe, Greenland, I'm pretty sure they're going to take Canada. That makes sense. You got Alaska on the left, you got Greenland on the right. Why not take Canada? Because he's going to realize he can't cut all the trees down here in America and sustain that.
I know that I've always kind of like maybe like laughed at certain things you said about him taking, but he did go into Venezuela, so that gives a lot of credence to what you've been saying. I kind of had a feeling they were going to do something with that, but I didn't know they were going to just rush in there. After they started doing the troop buildup, I knew something was going to happen. You wasn't just going to walk away from that one.
It's killed almost 100 people in fishing boats.
I mean, that was provocation. He was trying to provoke them to do something to overstep one way or the other.
The 3 oil tankers they've already taken, Russians came out and said that's piracy. Yeah, a lot of countries like piracy.
I almost feel like, you gotta almost look at it like that's probably a deal that was made with Russia in China to say, we're going to take Venezuela. You can go ahead and have, we'll help you make the deal with Ukraine to kind of keep the land that you've already taken over there. But we're taking Venezuela. Maybe they made a deal with China where they may have access to taking Taiwan. That would be a bad move, to say the least, because Taiwan creates 90% of our advanced semiconductors that we use in the world, semiconductor chips that we use in the world, and 60 to 70% of the just regular semiconductor chips we use in the world. They create most of all that. They would basically run the market. Yeah, that's every device that you uses semiconductors. Your cars, televisions, phones, everything that we use, computers, uses these semiconductor chips. That's why that's why Biden came out and had the whole CHIPS Act. We built huge semiconductor plants here in America. These are I won't even say Democrat, but these are progressive ideas. Instead of just saying, hey, let's steal the oil, hey, let's charge people more money, kick people off healthcare. This is pretty much what this side of the aisle does. This is why I'm pro one side versus the other. There is a difference. When you come out and you show me, like, look at what this is trying to change the subject, but not too much. What happened over in New York? Soon as Mamdani got in, what did he do? He came in, him and the governor. This is
universal health care or universal child care
for like up to 2 years. I think up to 2 years old. He did that. I mean, that's progress right there. That's major progress to have universal health care for children up to 2 years old. Now, who is that helping? The working class people. That's who it's helping. It's helping your populace so they can get a foothold in the world and try to do something more. It's not saying, hey, I'll give you $1,000 to have a baby. I'll give you $2,000 to have a baby. What do you know how much childcare is? You know how much these other things are? That's just the one step. This guy just got in. When he get in on New Year's? On New Year's,
$50 a week per one child. Depending on if you get lucky, you get a good one that's priced that way. It's a lot for childcare. It's a lot.
Absolutely. No, I believe you.
I saw something about what he did. They're trying to stop mail-in voting, and so I think they did something. They did something about post-dating the mail. They did something. I gotta look into it more. It's something that's kind of like went under the radar. But basically, it's like if you do mail-in voting and your vote isn't in, but by the time the election is, it's not going to count. They're going to send it back.
Yeah, that's probably in certain states. They can't dictate all states like that. It doesn't run that way. This is basically state by state when it comes to how people vote. That's going to be a huge thing. It's going to have to overhaul the whole system. But the point of it is, though, is that you're not doing things for the people. You never have. This person has never done things that are truly for the people. He's done whatever is best for him and his political buddies. This has always been what he's done. And I'm watching the people who vote for him. And I don't, and it's like most of them are like, you guys don't work, you guys don't do X, Y, and Z on the left. And it's, to me, it's sad because it's like, this isn't a left or right issue. This is a right and wrong issue at the end of the day. You know what I mean? You have to really look at it that way.
It depends on who you ask and who's right and who's wrong.
No, yeah, definitely. No, like, definitely.
Think about it. I hate to bring this up, but people that, that support pedophiles, they think they're right in what they do. They think what they do is right, and they think it's not a crime. So at this point, it's not about right or wrong. It's about what you believe in and what you don't believe in. If you feel that the federal government should be able to come into your neighborhood, rough you up because you look a certain way, shoot people in the face because they feel scared, wear a mask and not have to present warrants or identification, then are you really an American at this point? Because regardless of what side you're on, like I watched, like I said, I brought it up earlier, Ammo Bundy. He did it. They came to take his livestock because they were grazing on federal land, and they stood up to him with guns, and the government backed down and left him alone.
Let me ask you this real quick. There's a guy who spoke on my page about that, and he likes to use. He doesn't say it too often. I have other people who I know who probably use it a little more often. I call him an American now, and I know that he previously has served in the armed services. So it's like, I'm not saying that to be disrespectful, but at the end of the day, you can be both. In my eyes, you can be both. You can have served in the armed services, and you can now be an un-American person because you're not fighting for the same principles that you once did. You know what I mean? Like right now, I don't think that you are fighting to have dictatorship in America, but it seems like you're okay with it now.
They're making new American principles. Someone says that all the time. Like when a black person wins at something, the other side comes out and they start changing the rules because you've already learned how to work the system. When Obama became president, we'll say it started from there. When Obama became president, they all realized, like, look, what we're doing is not working anymore because this person was able to get in this position of power. So what they did is think about Donald Trump was a total opposite of what we had before because they did such a smear campaign on Hillary Clinton. But then people got a taste of it. You know what I'm saying? Because as long as you support them, you know what I'm saying, they're going to push everybody else down. They're fine with it. And as long as, and you think that, but this whole administration, it's affected everyone. It was nice when you could be like, ha, 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 look what they're doing to you. Look at the liberal tears. Look at the Republicans crying. No, everybody's being affected. Everybody's losing their job. It's all about, my mom said it the best. She's like, soon it's not going to be about race. It's going to be about class warfare.
It's always been about that too at the same time. It always has been. We can see it. I mean, when you're watching a guy who's had the lowest job creation numbers since his last administration, and then before that, decades before that, it's like, and you're not looking at the facts, but you're like, hey, well, the economy grew, Wall Street's up. I mean, are things good at home? Are you seeing the people around you doing better? That's what this is all about to me. People can say they can call it. I am not for total socialism in any aspect whatsoever. I'm not, but I am for universal child care. I am for universal health care. Because I understand those are rights in this country. At this point in time, how hard we've worked to get to where we're at as a overall nation. Those are rights in this nation. They're rights in other countries.
I'm just saying the protesters ain't going hard enough for me. You ain't going hard enough for me. They just killed you. They just shot a lady in her face 3 times. 3 times in her face. And you saw the video. Her girlfriend may have been a little rowdy, but she wasn't. Shot her 3 times in the face to an officer that said he almost got ran over before 6 months ago. So it ain't over it. And when that happens to a cop, they give them time off. They don't put them back on the streets. You're supposed to take time off. So she was killed. She was shot 3 times in the face by a government agent.
So I mean, what do you expect them to do? What do you call?
Bitch. He said, "Fucking bitch."
I know.
And then they stood there, and the doctor wanted to. No, the TikTok already shut us down. Anyways, we're still on, but they whatever. Then they wouldn't let people render her aid. Then they did a smear campaign. You know what that looks like? You know what? People don't understand this, bro. Being black in America, we already seen this show. We've seen this. This is what's wrong with our country now. If you would have stopped it when we told you what they were doing to us, we wouldn't be in this situation. Now it's happening to the rest of you, and you're flabbergasted. Oh my God. What's happening? They're just shooting people.
This is what I'm gonna say.
Go ahead.
This is what I'm gonna say. You know what I mean? I feel like protest as it is that's good enough. I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's a good start to anything. Getting out in the streets and starting something is better than doing nothing. There's a lot of nothing that was done before this. When they went out, when LA did something, you know what I mean, and they didn't push back on LA too much, but they got out there and they did something. I think starting somewhere matters. Everyone's not going to be straight on 10 immediately. I get what you're saying. You know what I mean?
Got to burn stuff down. It's hard though. It's because it's not like this is like they have a central location that you could burn down that they're at. I mean, you can park a bunch of cars and set them on fire. You got to do something.
It's pretty much your community that you be burning down at the end of the day. You burn that. You know what I mean? So it's more about surrounding them everywhere they go and creating.
That's why LA didn't do it as much. They set cars on fire. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They got rowdy in the streets. That's what you got to do. You think, what do you, everywhere if a bully comes up to you and he pushes you every day at school, pushes you, boom, give me your lunch money, takes it from you. He gonna take your lunch money, but the one day he comes to try to push you and you square up with him and you fight him, you may lose, but you fight him. And every time he comes up to you, you fight him. You know what happens? He leaves you alone.
It looks like this is what they're doing. It looks like this is what they're trying to do now. I mean, I see everywhere they're going, they're surrounding them. They're getting. I mean, they're creating conflict where they cannot do what they came to do. You know what I mean? So I think that matters. I think that's start there. And the people are starting to see, okay, let's start being a little bit more aggressive into getting them out of here. Not only on top of that aggression and those people going out into the streets protesting has now pushed their politicians to react. Look at what was that Waltz? Look at what he did over. Look at what he went out and activated the National Guard to come out and help not only look after his people, but also make sure the protests don't get out of hand and whatever else. But he had to make a move because people started doing something. Everybody's now coming out saying, don't come to this city thinking that you're going to do X, Y, and Z, or there's going to be a problem. Other city officials are starting to say, other mayors are starting to say this now.
In our communities, that's the whole thing. If you live in a red state, let's just keep it like that, because it's not even that simple. It's not even that simple. Yes, your state won red in the election, right? But it's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag. Look here in Washington, the majority of the places that flooded here when we had the rain, those are, I can guarantee you, those are Republican areas. Those people voted Republican. They live rural areas here in Washington. There's not that many blue areas. But the whole thing to look at one state, be like, that's a red state. This is the blue state. We're going to send these troops into there to go round up these migrants. If the state don't want you there, you shouldn't be there.
Absolutely.
But think about this. We live in a country now, Wes, where an 11-year-old can be sexually assaulted by her uncle, and they'll say it's an act of God, and people have to sneak her out of her state to get an abortion. We live now in a country where a woman was pregnant. She had a brain aneurysm, died, but they kept her alive on a machine so she could be forced to keep the baby. We live in a country now, Wes, where a woman has an abortion, and depending on what state you're in, you're going to jail for murder. We live in a state now where if you're a brown person driving, a federal agent could be having a bad day, pull you over, shoot you in the face, and it's your fault because he supposedly has total immunity. We live in a country now where healthcare you can't afford it. We live in a country now where the rent is so high that the jobs in your city, you don't make enough to afford the rent. So if you're homeless, we live in a country where it's a crime to be homeless. The old America we knew is over. Everyone needs to get with the times, stop pussyfooting around what you really need to do, and get out there and do it. Because either you're going to let rich corporations and this administration put their thumb in your back and in their knees in your neck, or you're going to have to fight back. That's just what it is. Mm-hmm. How much more can they squeeze you? How much more can they take? Look at your life right now. Look at your life right now. Look at it. Am I saying it's terrible? No. Are you working to gain something, or are you just maintaining to keep what you have? And
I agree, man.
Now they want to take more from you.
Like I say, I agree with everything that you're saying. I mean, you remember the case where the woman who I think she went to the bathroom and didn't know, this is what happened to her, and she flushed, and and they found the fetus, and then they claimed it was murder. So I mean, we live in a country right now, like you said, to where these things are true. Everything you said is a fact right now. We have to get to a.
Go ahead.
We got to get.
I got. There's two stories I've seen so far online. There was a gentleman that had he had asthma, and his inhaler went from $20 to $523, and he had to make a decision: do I pay rent or do I get my asthma? He paid his rent. Next month, he was dead. There's a woman that caught cancer. She couldn't afford her hospital bills anymore. So her insurance got too high. She couldn't afford it. She passed away because she couldn't afford the treatments anymore. You can go to these other countries. The other countries will take care of you, right? It's affordable. We've been out the country, bro. Medical is affordable everywhere else we go. Why not here? Because it's easier to squeeze the people for it because ain't nobody done nothing about it.
So let me ask you this then. I mean, so do you think that voting matters at this point in time? Do you feel like it's something that can change anything, or do you feel like it's a foregone conclusion?
I mean, the midterms will matter, but the main election for president, no, that's compromised. That's over. We saw that in the last one, and the Democrats, they didn't look into it like they should have, because I'm pretty sure he ain't win that much. I'm pretty sure he didn't win that much.
I'm gonna say I have to. I feel like he did, man. I'm not gonna say he didn't. I watch people who are like, it's sad when you see people that you look at as knowledgeable people, and they say things to you that are blatantly false, patently false. I mean, we both know we went through this whole entire time. We were watching everything he said he's gonna do right now in that Project 2025, and he said he didn't know anything about it. They're doing it right now. He has the team around him to do it. He's not doing anything. He's just being dictated by someone else. He's just making sure he gets what's his. His net worth has gone from $2.5 billion to $6.5 billion since the time he's been in office. That's not even a year. His youngest son, Barron, is worth over $180 million. The wealthiest 18-year-old. I mean, I don't know if it's on the planet or not, but all that money made this year. His other son, Eric, Eric Trump, is a billionaire. Money made this year. His other son just got a drone contract, the largest drone contract, independent drone contract for a company that he has never created a drone. Got $695 million for that. Government money. Think about this. I mean, look at what they did last administration.
Don't even know if they fly.
Don't even know if they can create a drone or not, but they got $695 million. Trump just went into a contract with a nuclear company, and the government gave them $6 billion. You know what I mean? Under a brand new contract that they've gotten for some type of a nuclear program.
The American government, he realized in his first term, right? He was like, look,
he didn't take enough.
This is a piggy bank that never runs dry. I can take as much money as I want out of this. They can't stop me. Think about you sitting there. What I would do if I could do it again.
And this he had the opportunity. And you look at it like it's almost he said, I'm getting 50 to 60 million barrels of oil from Venezuela, and I'm gonna take the oil and I'm gonna dictate where it goes. The president, myself, dictate where that money goes. I'm gonna put it in the offshore accounts. And I'm gonna dictate where it goes.
If people don't understand the anger, first of all, he's old and senile right now. When he got up and he was looking at the invisible ballroom yesterday, the invisible ballroom, it's like, this is the door to my ballroom. You see it? It's beautiful. It's beautiful, beautiful ballroom. Whatever. You have to realize, bro, he thought he was either run the free country, run America, or go to jail. And why people thought he was going to jail? Oh, they was talking shit. They was on his ass. Hey. They was getting him. And look, and it's just it's revenge, but you have this man that shouldn't have this kind of power. And it's showing what's happening. I'm wondering what this week tomorrow is gonna bring. Look, they just indicted Jerome Powell. I mean, we got about 10 minutes left. They just
who's Jerome Powell?
Jerome Powell he's a Federal Reserve. Trump's been trying to get rid of him.
Chairman of the Federal Reserve.
Yeah, chairman, because if he gets rid of him, then it's an independent agency. But if he gets rid of him, then he can set the
president set the interest rates. Basically, but the president appoints the Federal Reserve chairman, who like basically presides over the Federal Reserve, which is like 14 independent banks in America, which pretty much sets our monetary policy. And the Fed chairman is selected by the president. He already tried to fire Jerome Powell before, but everyone on Wall Street came out and was like, nah, we're not letting you do that, because presidents are not supposed to have their hands in monetary policy. The Fed's supposed to be an independent branch, not even of the government, because they say the Federal Reserve, but it has nothing to do with the government. They dictate our monetary policy, but they're not even a part of our government. It's crazy. Go ahead.
Remember, he tried to fire the lady under him just so he could get closer to it. And they were like, you can't fire her either.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think it's a black lady. Wasn't she a black lady?
A black lady, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Probably the highest position that any, but anyway, keep going.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, you're seeing what he's, I'm wondering what next week's going to bring. I can't even look, I know they're taking Greenland. He said in 20 days, when they took Venezuela, he was like, or not, it wasn't Venezuela they were talking about.
What's going on, Kilo?
They already took something else. And he was like, nah, let's not talk. They asked about something. He's like, let's not talk about that. We'll talk about Greenland in 20 days. Because they're taking it. They got Steven Jackson on it. They got Steven Jackson on it.
Yeah, he's definitely taking that one. Absolutely. Yeah. Said it. Yep. I mean, they do that, and basically, they dictate anything when it comes to our monetary policy is dictated by this Federal Reserve. This was all created. We'll get back in. We'll go into this later. It's not really, but yeah, man, right now basically Powell came out and said, you know what, I'm not going to let you intimidate me by coming and giving us all subpoenas, saying that basically he subpoenaed them, saying that when he came and spoke in front of Congress about renovations to some Federal Reserve buildings and how much money and where the money was going, XYZ, because obviously we're probably paying for this. It's coming out of money that we have. We're paying for an agency that's not even a part of the federal government. We're paying for their repairs, which doesn't make sense to me. Like, why are we paying for your repairs? And we already pay you a bunch of money for no reason, pretty much. You know what I mean? We give you a bunch of money for no reason. People don't understand that most of the money that they say that's owed, they say, oh, we're $36 trillion in debt. You know that like 29 trillion of that is owed by us. Like, we borrow money from ourselves, but it's ran by the Federal Reserve and they get money off that too. It's crazy to me. Like, we really don't understand our monetary policy, really don't understand anything about our country. There's no way that we're really only $7 trillion in debt, if you want to talk about it that way. That's a lot of money, but it's nowhere near what, like our GDP is like 30 trillion. So it's like nowhere near that, like there's we're over 100% of debt to GDP ratio. We owe ourselves to the American people.
In December, they only added 55,000 jobs. They said the whole 55. That's low. That's low.
He said the U.S. takes Greenland.
Yes, he said NATO's over.
It's over. I mean, that's probably his intent. I feel like that. Like when I say that he's an asset, it doesn't mean he working directly for them. It means maybe he has something in their best interest that they know about him, or they have some favors on him where it's like, you know what, do this for me. He doesn't care. As long as his family is wealthy forever, he does not care what happens to the rest of us. You haven't figured that out by now? I'm not sure people can really think that way. I'm gonna be honest with you guys though. I am not against gaining Greenland. Like just like I wasn't against getting rid of Maduro. But the methodology and how you do it does matter. When you go in there and you kidnap a president, that's not something that you want to have your hands involved in, especially being America, land of the free, home of the brave, all that good stuff, and having democracy and all that kind of stuff where you're kidnapping dictators to steal their oil. Doesn't look good. That tells the rest of the world, you know what, it's free game. We're the world's largest superpower right now. We are that. So we're supposed to lead by example.
Stephen Miller said that too. And I don't know if you saw JD Vance. He was like, yeah, they asked him about NATO. He's like, yeah, that's cool. We made a pact. You helped us out, after World War II and a little bit with terrorism. He's like, but that was 25 years ago. What are you doing for me today? No, that's JD Vance said that. He said it's 25 years ago. He's talking about the Iraq
war on terror.
Yeah, war on terror. He's like, what? He's like, that's not today. They don't care.
I mean, like I say, I'm not 100%. I'm not 110%. I'm not against it, but it's the methodology and how you take it. That matters. That's how I look at it. It's not horrible that Maduro is gone. I'm not going to say he didn't win the election, but do I think he won the election? I mean, probably not. He probably didn't. He didn't show any of the results, but that's up to him and his country. That's what they got going on over there. We've had plenty of times we felt like there were election results that some people we didn't agree with, hanging Chads down in Florida. There's a lot of people who didn't agree with that. But do we sit back and have somebody come and kidnap our president, take him out the country and say, well, we didn't agree that you guys' election was free and fair, so we're going to take the president and call him a dictator and whatever else? We got a guy right now who's a wannabe dictator in office now.
You could come and try to take him out of America. You could try. You could try. I mean, that's the whole thing. In Venezuela, they could have stopped him. You know what I'm saying?
Venezuela has a population of 33 million people, man. There's 30 million people. Yeah.
You ain't going to Russia to take Putin. You ain't going to China to take Xi. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You ain't going to Israel to take Netanyahu, and he got money on his head. If Venezuela could have stopped him, they would have stopped him.
And that's the problem. And our backyard, when you start looking at people, have to look at you that way. Oh man, he's telling Cuba the same thing. Or he wants to go to Greenland. Or he's telling Colombia. Or he's telling Mexico the same thing. It becomes a point to where you're no longer respected even in your backyard. They're waiting for you to slip. At some point in time, we're going to slip. It doesn't matter. You're not always going to be the biggest bully on the block. It just doesn't go that way. You're going to want.
And I apologize, cut you off. And the damage has been done so bad. There's no coming back from this. You can't say, hey, we're going to, say he falls out from a heart attack in the next 4 months. It won't matter. It won't matter. Like, you've done so much damage. The trust, it took years to build this trust with all these countries, years to have all these trade deals that have been in place for years. Mm-hmm. And it was all destroyed in less than 340 days.
Speaks volumes on it.
Yeah.
Speaks volumes on it that just one person can come in here and destroy everything that, because my biggest thing about it is this: I don't want kids who are growing up right now to look at America and think this is what it's supposed to be. That's not the America that I grew up in. I didn't grow up with my politicians, dropped cuss words the entire time. I'm not trying to say, but let's be real here. We want people who are the best of us. I don't want a guy who I can go have a beer with to be my president. I don't want somebody who sits. I'm not saying he shouldn't drink beer. I'm saying I don't want a dummy as my president. I'm sorry. I don't want a person who everybody in America can understand to be my president. Because some of you don't need to understand certain things because you don't want to. That's your personal decision, but you choose not to.
He tells the truth, and then they're like, that's not what he meant. He meant this. He's not speaking in riddles, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like,
at all. It's not like he's some genius. Like, this is just he's an orator. His orator skills
Shakespeare. Are just. You're not. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to break this down to me. He says what he means, and he means what he says. He's like, look, I'm taking Greenland. Now we can do it the easy way, or we can do it the hard way.
Hey, I like it. What's the one dude, man, who was on
The booty bandit on the Boondocks. I like him. He's a real dude. That's a real guy, actually, though.
I know he is. Yeah. That's why he said, what did he say?
He said, I like you. I want you. That we can do this the easy way. We can do so. That was the same dude. He was on there and he was talking about what did he say? He was like, yeah, don't fart in jail. He's like, you fart in jail. Let it be juicy. Like, ooh, that's juicy. Now they pull all new around.
Hey, like I said, man, I'm looking at him like this. I'm looking at him like this, man. This person right here, he said Fleece Johnson, that's his name. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at him like this, man. All jokes aside, this is pretty much what he's saying to somebody right now. This is what he's saying he said it to Cuba. He's like, basically, man, you guys have been funded by Venezuela. They've been giving you guys cheap oil, free oil to help defend them. He's going to starve their people out right now. Starve their people out. Do we believe that what's going on in Iran is pretty much organic? No. What happens is we put sanctions on these countries and we starve their people out. That's what you do.
Well, he's looking at Iran like all you got to do is turn the cameras off. Because there's a lot of footage. Look, there's so much footage I can't post on our website. I have the protests in Israel where the IDF are running over the protesters. You got the person get dragged to the front of the bus, like getting dragged by the front of the bus. I got video of the people, the armed guards, the guards in Iran smoking the protesters. Yep. I have all this footage. Yep. There's a lot of stuff I can't put up there to show you guys because I don't want our stuff to get demonetized. I don't want us to get, suspended or any of that stuff. But there's so much going on in the world that you're just not seeing. And so if he's looking at the people Iran being able look, they're saying this cop had full immunity. And I'm gonna leave you with this in Minnesota. If you give these agents full immunity, it will be war in the streets. It has to be. It has to be.
I agree.
It's gonna get worse. A lady at the end of the day, a woman was shot in the face 3 times
by a coward, pretty much by a coward, by someone who just wants to play the bully role. And you've given them a gun and a badge, and you've unleashed them onto our streets to treat American citizens how the brown shirts treated, the citizens in Germany in the 1930s and the 1940s. Whenever this is what you've done to our country.
It's the federal government against brown folks. And anyone that's brown folks and anybody that's
exactly. Perfect.
Anybody. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to end the live here. We're going to keep you up to date. If anything major happens, please tune in with us. Join our Discord. We have the link there on our Facebook. I will post it on Instagram also. We're trying to get that started just to have our straight discussions over there. Once again,
subscribe to all of our different pages. You guys get an opportunity. We love to have you guys. The support is great. We really appreciate it, man. So make sure you guys like and subscribe to all of our different pages, our TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all of them, YouTube.
Yes. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, this is Uncommon Courtesy. This is our Sunday live show. Until next time.